Hey everybody and welcome back. Today we're going to continue working through the NPCs of Stardew Valley. Last time we examined Pierre, so it's an easy transition to talk about Caroline this time. If you didn't watch the last video, you may want to check that one out first. These two kind of go hand in hand, and I'll be referencing back to some info from the last one during today's video. I've kind of flipped back and forth between more speculative and more grounded videos. This one will have lots of supported content with, I would say, a healthy topping of speculation. Let's start with some basics here. Caroline is the mother of Abigail and the wife of Pierre. During the course of the game, Caroline is never employed or seeking work. She also doesn't indicate in any dialogue that she used to have a particular profession that I've seen. And while she says that she wanted to be a rancher as a child, it doesn't sound like that ever really came to fruition. So we're left to wonder what she did before she and Pierre moved to the valley. I'm not saying any of this to disparage Caroline. Being a homemaker is a full-time job. I'm just laying some foundation for our subject today. Continuing with some more backstory here, Pierre claims that he was a pretty good boxer back in the day. His right hook was the stuff of legends. I feel like we've maybe seen that right hook. Oh yeah, that one. The right hook that he used to end Joja's tenure in the valley. Yeah, that one. So anyway, as a young man, Pierre was a pretty good boxer. Obviously, it's been a little while since then, but that's pretty interesting. Now Caroline will tell you that when she was younger, and when she and Pierre got together, it took her a little while for her to settle down. She also says that Pierre is a good man, but he's a little traditional. We'll get back to both of those quotes, so let's try and keep those in the back of our mind for today's video. So with that knowledge, I have a question for you, the viewer. What kind of life experience forces a free spirit to settle down? And what kind of life experience causes a boxer to leave his physically dangerous occupation in favor of something safe, if a little boring? Is there any single event that could cause both people to drastically change? I think there might be. So, Caroline misses a period. No big deal, that happens, that's life. But then a second one. And she thinks, I should probably tell him, so she tells Pierre. He starts freaking out. She misses a third one. And he thinks, you know what? I'm going to be a great husband and a great dad. He hangs up his gloves and he buys a big fat wedding ring and proposes. Caroline says, yeah, of course. And they buy a small shop with an old shrine in a tiny little town far from their disapproving families. But then they go to the doctor, the local doctor. I don't know who it is. It's not Harvey. He's not here yet. And the doctor says, no, you're not pregnant. It's probably just stressed. And the couple is rocked. Pierre just threw away his boxing career. Caroline just settled for the man she thought was her child's father. They go through with the wedding, but they're just really going through the motions. Things are different now. Pierre attacks his new life with determination. He thinks, maybe I will never be a big professional boxer, but I can still be successful, and I can still be a good husband. All I need to do is make more money. Then I can provide the good things in life, the things my free spirit wife longs for. We can take vacations to Zuzu City, maybe a hot air balloon trip once a year on our anniversary. And who knows, maybe I'll open other stores and spread the family business across the area. Caroline is distraught. She wants to be a good partner as well, but, let's be honest, Pierre kind of sucks. The things that she liked about him, like his confidence, they're gone. Now he's just some money-hungry dude. And she's pretty sure that he blames her for the whole thing. Maybe he even thinks she tried to trap him. The athlete forced to settle down to avoid a scandal. I don't think that's what Pierre was thinking at this point, but the two obviously have some communication issues, so I don't think it's that much of a stretch. Things are getting cold at home and uncomfortable. Pierre is constantly thinking about how to get ahead, even at the expense of his fellow villagers. Caroline is waffling between regret and guilt, and she decides to just get out of the house during working hours. It makes her feel uncomfortable and maybe a little guilty seeing Pierre behind the counter all day. So she goes for walks. She's always loved nature, and she's always loved tea. And she thinks she's found some good herbs in the woods near the town. And what do you know? There's someone else in the woods that loves a good cup of tea, or a pot of tea, or a cauldron of tea. I don't know. Seriously, this guy loves tea. And isn't he an interesting creature? A man all wrapped up in the occult, out here in a strange tower at the edge of the woods. Well, Pierre is so preoccupied lately, and Caroline is not quite sure she's ready to settle down. And then this man, this Rasmodius, he's so exotic. He lives freely out here away from the petty worries of the townspeople. He shares a love for fantastical teas, and he even gifts her a small plant from his own collection. She could swear there's something magical about the man's brews. Anyway, this part probably comes as no surprise to anyone, but yes, I do think Abigail is the wizard's daughter. We've seen some dialogue from him stating that he thinks one of the villagers is his child. Abigail has always been a little obsessed with the occult. Her hair seems to maintain its characteristic purple hue longer than it should be able to, and even Pierre states that he wonders sometimes if Abigail is his own daughter. So yes, here we are. Caroline is pregnant for real this time. And here we have Caroline and Pierre, all alone in a new town, with no friends and nothing but each other. They expected a child, and now they're going to have a child to raise. Pierre is overjoyed, but Caroline is distraught. She wants to talk to the wizard about it, figure things out, but when she arrives, he's speaking with another woman. The terrible shrieks of that woman frighten her off, and even Marnie is able to hear them all the way from over at her ranch, which, by the way, I think it's interesting that Marnie doesn't seem to know much about the wizard's tower, despite living right next door, pretty much. But Caroline doesn't call it a tower, she calls it the wizard's tower, and I think that's just more support for the whole Abigail thing. As Caroline leaves, she thinks she sees the woman that was arguing with the wizard flying off on a broom. Never again does she visit the wizard, though she still takes the occasional walk in the woods. But when she sees the wizard at festivals, she turns up her nose. This child will be hers and Pierre's. He may be a little traditional, but he's a good man. And even though she doesn't talk to him about it, it seems like by the time the farmer gets to Pelican Town, Pierre already knows. It's never said exactly what's in Pierre's stash, but I have an idea that's different from anything I've ever seen anyone mention. Personally, I think they might be letters from the wizard to Caroline, letters that Pierre found instead, letters asking if the wizard could meet his own daughter. I think Pierre has always known, and he pretends not to because that's the only way to keep the family together, even if it broke him. The farmer says that Caroline deserves to know about the letters. The only way that they're going to be able to move on is if they talk about it. And in this case, Pierre doesn't threaten you. Even though we've seen him get physical before, he just says, "You'd really do that to me?" He's not angry. He might be a little angry, but more, he's just broken. There's nothing holding this family together except this lie. And he's willing to keep his knowledge a secret, just like his wife has been doing all these years. And make no mistake, Caroline is just as broken. She wants to be a good partner, and she cares about her boring traditional husband and her, shall we say, a little unusual daughter. But it took her a little while to settle down, okay? She wasn't ready for the domestic life. She is now. But now it's a little too late for things to ever go back to normal. What do you think about Caroline? Did she cheat on Pierre, or is it all a misunderstanding? Let me know what you think in the comments, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.